Hi, my name is Konstantin Magnus. In this Houdini tutorial, we are going to create topographic contour models. Let's start in a new scene with a height field. And the first version will be just a bunch of curves on top of a height field. So let's create some elevation by using a height field noise. And I would like to increase the amplitude and the element size to 1000 each. To get a smoother result, I'll reduce the number of octaves to 3, and because a height field is essentially just a two-dimensional voxel grid, we can trace it just like any grayscale image. Now, in order to create several slices at a time, we have to manipulate the height field mask. So let's create a sine wave based on its height. You will see a bunch of red stripes for each height layer, and in order to compensate for the length of the sine wave, we multiply the height by capital Pi. To address the thickness of each layer, we will divide the result by a variable called thick. So let's set up a float by the same name and create a user parameter called thickness. This float value will now drive the thickness of each layer, and now we can try tracing again. This time we set the tracer to the mask of the height field and make sure to set the threshold to 0, so it's cutting right through the center of the sine wave. The filter we're going to use to remove the borders, and the remaining closed curves we are going to unroll using the ends node. This is how we get the contour lines. At the moment they are all sitting right on the ground, but we can lift them up by using an attribute from volume node. We connect its second input to the height field and ask for the volume called height and create an attribute by the same name. It's a float value with an attribute size of 1. And now in the geometry spreadsheet, you should see we have the height values sampled. They are a little bit imprecise, so we can create an attribute wrangle to clean them up. Let's create another variable called height, and this time round to integer the attribute height. This we can use for two things. First of all, we set the point position's y component to it. So this would be the correct height. And in case we need it, we can also output the corrected height as an attribute. Optionally, we can also create some colors on each curve. So this time, let's create a bounding box using the rel point bbox function on our geometry stream based on the point position, and create a color vector. We are going to cast a channel ramp to a vector, so Houdini knows right away we want to have a color ramp based on bb point y. Let's click on this little button, and I want to choose infrared. And to make this work, we are going to create an attribute called v@cd to display the color. Now, this would be the simple model. You can still refine it a bit, for example, by resampling after the ends node. You could try to lower the resolution using a resample node set to 10. But essentially, this is it for the contour lines. Now to get a solid model with a solid layer for each height curve, we are going to create a slightly more complex setup in a new geometry container. Let's dive inside, and instead you still see the old model. Make sure to hide other objects. In this new geometry container, I want to paste my height field along with the noise. And again, we're going to use the tracer, but this time in a for loop. The for loop, the way it's set up right now, will fetch feedback every time with each iteration. So let's switch this to fetch the input, so it's always working on the incoming height field. And the gather method should not be feedback each iteration, but rather merge all iterations in the end. So all the results will be collected. And now we can integrate the tracer, and you should see a slice, or rather multiple slices, sitting on top of each other, because so far we haven't changed the threshold with each iteration. We can do that by clicking on the repeat begin node and create a meta node. This we want to connect to the tracer, and because the tracer doesn't have a second input, we are going to create a spare one. Let's drag the meta node inside the spare input field, and now we can ask for various details. If you go over in the geometry spreadsheet to the detail class and click on the meta node, you will see that the meta node is not only holding the iteration number, but also an integer value, the total number of iterations, and a value. The value we are going to use to drive the trace node's threshold. Let's click on repeat end and define a start value and an increment. The increment will be the thickness of each layer. I'll start with 10 just to test this. And the tracer I will set to detail -1 to address the first spare input down here, and ask for the value. 0 is an empty argument. Let's hit enter, and you should already see these multiple slices. Still has some issues, but the general idea works, and this should be pretty fast. We're lacking a few functions, like we don't know how many slices we need to cover the entire terrain, and we also do not know where to start. As you may remember, we had a start value here in the repeat end node, and when we lower this, we can make sure it's starting earlier on the ground. But how do I know where to start and where to end? This is where we go back to the height field. And if you click on the primitive class in the geometry spreadsheet, you will see that there are some informations we can get by clicking on intrinsics. There's a volume min and a volume max value. This is like the lowest and the highest part of the height field. I would like to create a detail attribute about this. So let's create a detail wrangle and set f at height min, which is our new attribute, to contain this prim intrinsic information. I will ask for volume min value on primitive number 0. Let's see whether this worked. I had now successfully created height underscore min at the lowest value. Technically, setting the primitive number to 0 works, but if you want to make this more reliable, you can create a variable called PR for primitive height and ask for the prim based on the name. So name to prim is a function where we can tell the geometry stream and then ask for the correct number for a primitive called height, and then we can use this instead. PR underscore height will now contain the correct primitive number 0. If we had entered mask here, it would have returned 1. Let's copy the minimum line and turn it into a maximum line by setting the attribute name to height underscore max and name it and ask for the volume max value. These are height, min, and max. And this is info I can use later down the line in my repeat node. So usually you would try to address this by using the detail and then hope it still runs inside that stream. So let's try it, detail, height, min, and you see this fails. So we would be better off by using the second input, geometry pieces to loop over and connect this back to the height field. Let me just move this out of the way to have a clear view on this. And then we set the detail to the second geometry stream. So now you see it's starting at the lowest point. You can click with your left mouse button to see it here. And then we still have to define how many steps we want to take or when we stop this. So we could use a very high number for the iterations and then just exit the loop as soon as a condition is met. In our case, the value we are running here in the meta node. If this value is above the maximum of the height field's height, then we can stop. So let's try this. We can copy the detail function and now try the detail from the meta node. Let me just create another spare input here, drag it in, and now we can say we want to stop when the spare input's value is above the detail height max. And now the only thing we have to provide is maybe 1000 iterations, which are not executed because, as you can see here, it's exiting after 22 iterations. So this also works. There's just one break here at around 0, which we can change by going to the trace node again. And instead of setting the boundary color to just black, we set it to a custom value, which can be 1E7 or something really, really high. And that way we address the issue of having a height field which has a range which is way above and below 0 and 1. I can also try to use a very low value here, but then my polygons will be flipped. So let's just set it to 1E7, which is technically like, I don't know, 1 million or 10 million or something. All right, this is all the contour lines. And now we would like to use the value to drive their height. So let's use a transform node. Again, connect it with a spare input to the meta node. And then paste the detail on -1, and we're asking for the value again. Now you see why it's a better idea to set the boundary value to a negative value and reverse all these slices later. We can also append a whole node to get rid of these intersections, so the inside parts are being cut out. And now I would like to give each layer a unique class. So let's use a primitive wrangle, and just for consistency we can again set a spare input to the meta node, name this node class, and create an integer attribute called class, and ask for the detail from the spare input and ask for the iteration number. Now each layer should have a unique class, and we can visualize this using an attribute adjust color node set to the primitive class, and we can use a remap attribute. We choose class, and instead of computing the range, we are going to ask for the number of unique values on our geometry stream inside the primitive class, dPrimitive, and then enter the class, which is the name of the attribute. That way, this height field or this contour model would adjust to changes automatically, so we can, for example, change the amplitude, and after a second or less, we'll have a new result. Now let's turn them into solids, but only after we cleaned up a few things. After the whole swap, I want to use a facet node and set it to remove inline points. So depending on how strongly you want to reduce it, you would set the distance. I set mine to 0.01. And the next step would be extruding. And we extrude by the increment. So this would be the thickness of the layer. So I copy that and paste it inside the poly extrudes distance. I would prefer to have the back sides also closed here. And now we can just play around with this to test this a bit. So I go back to the repeat end node and try a finer increment of, let's say, 5. This seems to work. And maybe now a little rough increment of 25, which also works. That would be it. Thank you for watching.